G'day guys, bit of a different type of video today. I've dragged my wife Lisa onto camera after giving her absolutely no notice at all to talk about the 4 reasons why we invest in property. Sweet. Well, firstly, thanks for jumping on camera after about 5 minutes notice.
I'm so sorry to everyone watching this. I'm not prepared at all.
So when we were sitting down planning this video today, there were sort of 4 big things that came to your mind. I wanted Lisa to sort of plan out some of the concepts just because you guys know where I sit on most things these days. But, the one big shared value that we both have and the reason we started to invest so young was really to set ourselves and our family up for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we started really young because I think we had kids really young. So we were like, we're in the thick of it. Let's just knuckle down and get going. And yeah, it's paid off.
I think we bought the first property when I was at IBM at 24 and then the second one on the Central Coast when I was at IBM at 25.
Yeah.
And then we took a period off for like a year and a bit. And then we found out that we were going to have our little daughter's summer and we bought our first little home, the granny shack.
I love that house still. Like, it wasn't the most amazing house. It was like this little brick.
About 70 square meters.
We called it the granny house because when we bought it, the lady who owned it was older. And so it was like green and pink and had like little doilies as lampshades, but it had such like a nice feel about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember we had zero money. Like at that point I was working in a job that I was earning good money. But when I found out you were pregnant, I came back to the sunny coast and literally took a $45,000 a year job. And you were pregnant, went on maternity leave, so your income dropped. And I remember having like, after everything for the 3 properties we owned at that time and our expenses, like $50 a week left over. And we'd go up to Bunnings and just grab paint, or we'd grab like 2 plants or like one rail. Like it was just a period of like a year and a bit of just one thing at a time.
But we really like knuckled down. Like we were sharing a car. Like everything for our daughter was like given to us, or we would hire things and like.
You painted that old dress.
Yeah, the old dress all that we paid. So like we weren't throwing money at this house. It was purely like, how can we get by with this?
100%. Yeah. I remember like one time spending a couple of days getting drunk on the roof. I shouldn't say that. I was having a few beers on the roof with a mate and we hand painted the roof.
Yeah, I was like, can we please get a spray gun? And you're like, no, we can hand paint this tiled roof. We were up there for ages.
I remember like Sean, the dude that I was doing it with, I had to go to work on one of the days and he high pressure washed it up the tile.
Yeah.
And then remember in the middle of the night, the plastering all fell down in the lounge because it was soaked from him spraying all the tiles.
Yeah.
But, I suppose our vision has always been to use property to create financial freedom to set up ourselves and also our kids, because we do know it's going to be harder for them to buy in the future. Sweet. So the second thing Lise put down was kind of like our skills and the fact that we enjoy it. Like property for us has always been sort of a passion. You're an interior designer by trade.
Yeah. And Ben will deny it, but he loves all the boring stuff. His brain works like a calculator. So if he can like map it out and work out like all the nitty gritty details, and you love negotiating. Remember we used to go to like Athlete's Foot or something, he'd be negotiating over the price of shoes. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so mortified, but it's a good skill set to have now.
Yeah, like our clients definitely make bank because of that skill these days, but it was a punish, eh?
It was your like unofficial training, just like every shop. Like I'm sure you would go into like a Kmart and be like, oh, can I get this $10 thing for $4? Like,
I literally asked for a discount. I think it was because we went to Bali when we were super young and I was like, everyone's just negotiating here. Why doesn't anyone do it in Australia?
I stopped shopping with him for a while.
But yeah, like I think your skill set being super creative and being really, really good at like managing people and trades and making things happen. And then like seeing something from nothing, like, the designs that you've created that have turned into like houses and properties for us have been insane.
Yeah, that's a cool part for me, like looking at a plan and tinkering with that and, stealing a bit of room from here. And I love that stuff.
Yeah. So, and then I get all the fun stuff of like, going and working with the banks, the tax depreciation people, the accountants. What I do love is obsessing about the market, the suburbs, and finding like that hidden gem.
Yeah.
And I think from like the 17 properties that we've bought since we were young to now, thankfully we've sold most of them. I think 16 out of the 17 have done extremely, extremely well. So yeah, I think that obsessiveness of like trying to figure out a system behind property has been great for our family.
Yeah. But in saying that, I don't not ever have to do some of that. Like I have to come to some of the appointments.
No way.
Yeah. Ben has to step into my part a bit. So like it's not like that's definitely your role and definitely my role. Like we have to blend a bit too.
100%. Like these days you've been so supportive with the stuff as like stuff's taken off, and obviously like I get the fun bit of like going and defecting projects at the end.
Ben just comes in and criticizes.
Yeah. The third point that Lise wrote down was like it's less volatile than stocks for us. But I think what we're really saying, Ben, Snowy's back, is that it's really been like more within our comfort zone than stocks. Like I'm assuming if we had spent the last 13 years obsessing about stocks, then we'd have that absolutely wired by now as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But what did you sort of mean by that?
I just meant that like property was your passion very quickly and stocks wasn't. So it's like, and to me, I don't know a lot about stocks. So like it looked very volatile to me where I was like, property goes up and down a bit, but not as dramatic as stocks do. So
I'm biting this shit out of my arm. Like that clawing me.
So like for me at the time, I was like, it's a bit of a safer investment.
I'm so grateful that we read those books and we fell in sort of love with it. And then both of us liked it enough to make it like our careers and our skills as well.
Yeah. And I think because my dad was so heavily involved in the property industry, it was really nice that you had someone who had been through it all and seen the rise and falls to like, Ben would just chew his ear off.
I feel so sorry for him now. Like I just had, like anyone young, you've just got too much energy, and I didn't have an off switch until like really, I don't even know if I still do.
No, you don't.
I don't know. But I would sit there with him, and this poor dude just come home from like 9 or 10 hours, 5 days a week. And we lived with them like 5 or 6 times to save money or while we were doing projects. And they'd literally us and the kids in like a 3x3 meter room for years and years.
Yeah.
Every arvo, they'd have a beer, and then I'd walk out with my like list of questions that I'm about to hit him with. But he'd been developing, building, investing for 30 years, and he taught me so much. I never say it to him, but like I actually did say thank you last time he stayed at our house, because it's just like incredible what he gave us.
Yeah. They're the best people. Like just picture that 70s show, Red and Kitty Foreman, and that is my parents. So could you imagine Ben coming out every afternoon with a little notepad?
I'm fully like somewhere between Kelso and Eric, just pissing everyone off, hey? But like, naive enough to get away with it. The last point, number 4, that Lise wrote down is just both of us come from a place where we've been so fortunate and lucky to stumble into something that we love. And because we loved it, we've been able to like, man, we've had some shit times in it too. Like how stressful and hard has it been too?
Yeah, it has.
There's been parts where like we're at breaking point and just couldn't do anything more, but we're like stuck in subdivisions or Airbnbs and projects and just had to get through the other side. But I think like the big thing for us now is helping other people and serving others. So like, what's the strategy that we've been able to set up to actually do that from your perspective?
I like a lot of like our properties are dual living. So how do you describe it? It's almost like a duplex.
A house and a granny flat sort of.
Yeah. So then that makes it affordable for families to move in there when rental prices are so high at the moment. It makes me feel good that we can give people an affordable option. Yeah.
Obviously the journey to financial freedom or creating like choices in life earlier than retirement age is hectic, and we've been through a lot. But if you were sort of sitting down with your 20-year-old self now, with all of the fun, all the bumps and bruises we've gone through, like what would you be saying to her? What advice would you have for people watching this?
I would say get Ben his anti-anxiety medication.
Early.
Like 5 years early. No, I'd just say stick with it, because times are going to get really shit and you're going to be so stressed and you're going to be at each other. And if you can push through those shitty times, like there's always a good time to come around the corner. That's probably it. Just like don't get so lost in the shittiness that you forget to enjoy when things are really good again.
I actually got like a little drawing from one of our kids this morning that I'm like, can I take this to work? They're massively into like drawing and then laminating. The laminating machine is like their favourite thing. But it's a picture of a rainbow, and one of them has wrote, there's always another rainbow around the corner. And I'm like, I just love that because like, man, we've been through some shit with all of this, but like I've loved it and I wouldn't change any single part of it.
Woo! That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Have a spin. Yeah. Oh, sweaty. So sweaty. Oh, that's good. Look at that. So nice, eh? Oh.